After marrying a CEO who was still hung up on the one that got away, I was stuck in a sexless marriage. The umpteenth time he refused to sleep with me, I asked for a divorce. But on the day we were supposed to sign the papers, a series of pop-up comments suddenly floated in front of my eyes. "Don't do it, Sophie. William is actually crazy in love with you. He's just a classic stoic who never says what he feels. He knows you like the cool, aloof type, so he's trying his best to play the part. Honestly, he blushes the second you look at him and starts breathing hard if you touch him. He can't control it at all. He doesn't have a one that got away, you're the one. He fell for you at first sight when he was 17. Now that he's married to you, he literally smiles in his sleep." I stared at the comments, hesitating for a moment before quietly pulling back the divorce papers. "Maybe, let's not get divorced just yet." Across from me, my husband's eyes were bloodshot from holding back his emotions. A wave of pure joy washed over his face. "Really? You're not leaving?" William looked at me, his handsome, sharp face filled with a nervous, cautious hope. "Yeah. I want to think it over a little more." "Okay. By the way, will you be home for dinner tonight?" William was the CEO of a company with tens of thousands of employees. He was always busy and rarely made it home in time for dinner. "I'll be back." "Great, I'll make a few of your favorite dishes then." I turned and walked out of the CEO's office. The comments appeared above my head again. William's emotions are on a total roller coaster. One second, his wife is divorcing him. The next, she's making him dinner. Haha, right? He's acting all cool and collected on the outside, but he's actually freaking out with excitement. He thought Sophie didn't like to cook, so he never dared to ask if he could come home for dinner. Even when he wasn't working late, he'd just eat a packed lunch at the office before going home. Over time, Sophie started to think he didn't even want to eat with her. Hope William steps up his game tonight and shows her how he really feels. Now that she's mentioned divorce, he must be feeling the pressure. He has to make a move and change things. I had no idea what these comments were, but based on what they were saying, it seemed like William actually liked me quite a lot. Even though I didn't understand why his actions didn't match his words, if this was the case, I was willing to stick around and see what happened. 7 o'clock that evening. William arrived home right on time. The moment I heard the sound at the door, I ran over without even taking off my apron. "You're home. Dinner's ready, we were just waiting for you." Because the comments all said William was crazy about me, my mood had lifted considerably. Seeing him walk in, I greeted him with a joyful smile. William paused, his hand still on his coat. After changing his shoes, he gave a faint "okay, I'm just going to wash my hands." Then, without giving me a second glance, he walked right past me to the bathroom. That was so cold. Does he really like me? Just then, the comments started floating up again. He does. He's dying for you. Sophie in that pink apron gives off such total wifey vibes. He's afraid he'll lose control. That's why he doesn't dare look at you for too long. William is using every ounce of his willpower to maintain that cool guy persona. My eye twitched. I had no idea if any of this was real. After washing his hands, William came to the dining table. I had made a simple meal of 4 dishes and a soup, all to his taste. William picked up his chopsticks and took a bite of broccoli first. "How is it? Is it good?" "Yeah. I'm glad you like it. You worked hard." "Not at all. I actually find cooking really therapeutic." "Really?" A look of disbelief crossed William's eyes. "Yeah, especially when you're cooking for someone you love. It makes me happy." William's eyes lit up. After that, he didn't say another word and just focused on digging into his food. Seeing him eat with such gusto made me happy, too. Halfway through the meal, I ladled a bowl of chicken soup for him. I simmered this soup for 2 hours. "You should try it." As I handed it to him, my hand slipped, and most of the soup spilled onto him. His shirt and pants were instantly stained with the thick broth. "I'm so sorry," my hand slipped. "Let me clean it up for you." I shot up from my seat and frantically grabbed some napkins to wipe him down. But the moment my hand touched his chest, William suddenly grabbed my wrist, his brow tightly furrowed. "Don't. I'll do it myself." He quickly pulled my hand away, stood up, and went back to the bedroom. All in one smooth motion. It was as if he'd been touched by something disgusting. I froze, stunned at the dining table, my fists clenched without me even realizing it. "Damn it, which one of you idiots said he liked me? He's clearly so repulsed he can't even stand me touching him." The comments flew across my vision. There's something so heartbreaking about watching him flee back to the room like that. The second Sophie touches him, his heart starts racing, he blushes, and his breathing gets ragged. Do you have any idea how hard he's trying not to lose his composure in front of her? If Sophie were to go into the room right now, she'd find him red-faced, panting, and sweating bullets. Could it really be that dramatic? William, who seemed completely asexual, had another side to him. The comments piqued my curiosity. I tiptoed to the bedroom door. Through the slightly ajar door, I could hear a series of suppressed sounds. Oh. Was that sound really coming from William? All I did was touch his chest. What would happen if I touched him somewhere else? I can't believe the comments can even hear my thoughts. If you touched him somewhere else, he'd pounce on you right then and there. That's why he doesn't dare get close to you at night. He's afraid he'll turn into a ravenous wolf. He's scared his primal, perverted side will frighten you, so he's been desperately holding back. But the more he suppresses it, the more he wants it. The other night, you smelled so good after your shower that he had to get up and go to the bathroom several times. There were a few days when he lied about working late at the office because he didn't dare come home to sleep. He was actually in the break room at his office, cuddling a nightgown he stole from home. The information from the comments was explosive. It was almost too much to take in. But thinking back, I did notice a few of my nightgowns had gone missing. "Are you changed yet?" I was getting a little impatient, so I pushed the door open and walked in. William was startled to see me. Looking like he'd been caught red-handed, he quickly covered a certain area, his face completely flushed. "Almost done." The next second, he grabbed his clothes and bolted into the en-suite bathroom. Forget it. I'll just wait outside. It's a bit ridiculous, but William and I actually got married after being set up. I had been graduated for 2 years, and though I wasn't old, I had entered the phase where my mom was constantly nagging me to get married. At first, my aunts and family friends introduced me to a bunch of guys. I turned them all down. Until one day, my mom came to me, clutching a photo with excitement. "Sophie, this one's different. You'll definitely like him." The more she hyped him up, the more skeptical I was. But when I saw the picture, I grabbed my mom's hand. "Mom, time and place. Set it up, quick." That's right. William was so breathtakingly handsome that it was basically lust at first sight. We first met at a coffee shop. William was wearing a casual suit, and his chiseled, handsome face was practically glowing. Our courtship went smoothly after that. We had dinner, went to the movies, shopped, and took trips together. The only thing that was off was that he rarely initiated any physical contact. Occasionally, I'd try to hold his hand, but the moment I did, he'd awkwardly pull his away. When he dropped me off at home, I'd try to give him a kiss on the cheek, but before I could get close, he'd turn and bolt back to his car. Sometimes, even if I just wanted to give him a hug, he would retreat at lightning speed, as if I were taking advantage of him. At first, I just thought he was traditional or maybe just very respectful of women. Because aside from the no-touching rule, he was wonderful to me in every other way. He'd call me every night to say goodnight. I never had to open my own water bottles. He'd always cut my steak for me, and he even baked me a birthday cake from scratch. He was always anticipating my needs, thoughtful and attentive to the extreme. So a few months later, when he proposed with trembling hands, holding out a diamond ring, I said yes without a second thought. I thought that once we were married, our relationship could finally become more intimate. We were husband and wife, after all. There was no need to be so formal. But who would have thought that even a month after the wedding, William would still be acting like a celibate monk? He had absolutely no desire for me. At first, I even suspected he might have some sort of issue in that department. But then I heard a rumor that William had an unforgettable first love in England whom he could never be with. It all made sense. The classic CEO trope. William wouldn't touch me because he didn't like me at all. He only married me to get his family off his back. But I wasn't a doormat. I wasn't going to spend my youth in a sexless marriage. So, in a fit of anger, I stormed into his office with divorce papers. I just never expected that when I asked him to sign, I'd suddenly start seeing these bizarre pop-up comments. After dinner, William offered to do the dishes. While he was in the kitchen, I picked out a bottle of red wine from the cabinet. By the time he came out, I had changed into a sexy lace nightgown and was lounging on the sofa, one leg casually crossed over the other. I swirled the half-full wine glass in my hand, feigning nonchalance, but my intentions were anything but subtle. "Honey, care to join me for a drink?" I smiled, my eyes locked on him. William's Adam's apple bobbed violently. "Okay." He walked over and slowly sat down next to me. Good. He didn't reject me this time. To be honest, I was pretty nervous. I had tried the same trick during our first few days of marriage. I put on a nightgown made of barely their fabric and invited him to come to bed early while he was still working in the study. His response? He didn't even look up from his work. "Still have work to do. You go ahead." I instantly deflated like a popped balloon. It's not that he didn't want to look, he didn't dare to look. One glance and he would have lost it. Of course he would. Sophie has no idea what was going on under that desk, but he had to maintain his persona. But since Sophie brought up divorce today, he knows he has to make a move. If he keeps this up, he's going to lose his wife. It'll be too late for tears. "William, we've been married for a month now, haven't we?" I handed the wine glass to him, trying to start a conversation. He took it. "Yeah. So, do you ever want to do, the things married couples do?" As I spoke, I scooted closer, pressing my body against his arm and leaning my head on his shoulder, looking up at him with a soft, tender expression. Normally, William would have pushed me away by now. But today, whether it was because of the wine in his hand or because my talk of divorce this morning had shaken him, he didn't move. William didn't answer, but I heard a distinct, loud gulp from his throat. Then, the hand holding the wine glass started to tremble violently. "Sophie, I think we have plenty of time." He looked at me, his pupils dilated. As if I were some kind of terrifying monster. My confidence took a major hit. Feeling defeated, my voice started to crack. "Is it that you just don't want to touch me at all?" William swallowed hard again. His entire face, all the way to his ears, turned beet red, and his breathing became ragged. "I just don't think that kind of thing is very interesting. To be honest, I've always aspired to a more platonic kind of love." Platonic my ass. If he keeps up this charade, is he going to give himself an aneurysm? What can you do? The deeper the love, the more cautious you become. Who on earth told William that Sophie's ideal type was the cool, aloof, abstinent kind? I think it was back in middle school. Sophie read a novel and was obsessed with the male lead. He was one of those untouchable, ice prince types. And William happened to hear about it from her best friend and has remembered it ever since. What a terrible misunderstanding. Sophie was just a kid back then, what did she know about love and desire? Now she's at an age where she needs to be cherished by her husband. She doesn't want some celibate monk. After reading the comments, I immediately spoke up. "William, did you know me before our parents set us up?" Hearing my question, William froze. He became visibly nervous. "No, of course not." "You're sure?" "I'm sure." William's denial was firm. Doubt started to creep into my mind. Who was telling the truth, William or the comments? But from what I could remember, there was definitely no super handsome guy like William in my high school. So how could the comments know that William heard about my ideal type from my best friend? But that wasn't the main point. The point was, I had drunk the wine for courage and put on the sexy nightgown. Tonight, I was not going home empty-handed. I snatched the wine glass from William's hand, set it aside, and in a flash, I swung myself onto his lap, straddling him. Platonic love is nice and all. But communication between a husband and wife is also essential. I reached out and touched his trembling Adam's apple, my voice sultry. Don't you agree, honey? William still didn't resist. This is it. I rubbed my hands together in anticipation and, without waiting for an answer, leaned in for a kiss. But in the next second, a large hand shot up and covered my eyes. I was stunned. Then, the world spun around me. When I opened my eyes again, William had placed me on the edge of the sofa. By the time I came to my senses, all I saw was his resolute back as he fled in defeat. I'm done. I don't care anymore. I was so angry that I slept very soundly that night. When I woke up, the sun was already high in the sky. But the comments in front of my eyes started scrolling rapidly again. I really thought we were going to get the premium content last night, and then William pulls that stunt. I demand a refund. As a premium member, I object. I'm petitioning the author for a rewrite, or I'm going to review bomb them into an existential crisis. Everyone, calm down. Let's have some sympathy for William. Sophie was so seductive last night she gave him a nosebleed. He only ran away so he wouldn't embarrass himself in front of her. After he calmed down, he went back to the room to find her, but she was already asleep. He couldn't bear to wake her up. So he spent the whole night, taking care of business, in the study. He didn't sleep a wink, but he was up at 7 a.m. sharp to make his wife breakfast. He didn't even have time to eat himself and went to work on an empty stomach. I got dressed and went downstairs. Sure enough, on the dining table was a lavish and beautifully prepared breakfast. Western-style sandwiches, Chinese-style soup dumplings, invigorating coffee, and stomach-soothing soy milk. He hadn't missed a thing. My feelings were complicated. Was this his way of making up for last night? A little sweet after the bitter? A few nights later, William took me to a gala. And there, I finally met his legendary first love, Christina. She had returned from her studies in England and was now a budding fashion designer with a bright future ahead of her. That night, Christina and I became the center of the crowd's gossip. The wife versus the one that got away, the drama is real. Christina is wearing a dress she designed herself. That white gown makes her look like a noble swan. With her looking that beautiful, William must be feeling the pull even more. But to be fair, that Sophie is gorgeous too. Her purple gown tonight is stunning. Does it matter? Look at the distance between William and his wife. You could fit 3 Christinas in that gap. True. With his first love right there, William wouldn't dare get too close to his wife. Just then, Christina walked over to us. William, long time no see. She smiled at him. I never thought you'd actually get married. I can still picture you chasing after me like a puppy dog back in the day. But in the blink of an eye, you're someone else's husband. Christina's words sounded like a friendly reminiscence, but they were dripping with passive-aggressive cattiness. That was just kid stuff. It's all in the past, William replied coolly, glancing at me, perhaps worried I'd misunderstand. But the people nearby started whispering again. Did you hear that? His first love just said William used to chase after her. Sounds like he was really persistent. If Christina hadn't turned him down for her career, Sophie wouldn't even be standing here right now. I'll say it again, all the first love has to do is wave her little finger, and all the wife's efforts are for nothing. I'm betting they get back together. Hearing that, my rebellious streak ignited. I was his legal, certified wife. How could I let this green tea-sipping first love mock me to my face? So, I reached out, took William's arm, and leaned in close against him. Oh, please. Everyone was young and dumb once. But now, my husband only has eyes for me, his wife. Isn't that right, honey? I tilted my head up, looking at him coquettishly. But to my shock, William gave me zero support. He coughed lightly, smoothly pulling his arm out of my grasp, his expression serious and cold. Sophie, we're in public. Please have some decorum. My hand froze mid-air, and I was suddenly furious. Dude, I was just holding your arm. The comments lit up with activity. I'm dying laughing at William. In his head, he's already pushed her down and had his way with her 100 times, but out loud he's like, please have some decorum. Sophie's backless mermaid gown has already driven him absolutely insane tonight. This is a gala. Losing his composure in front of all these people would be a disaster. He had no choice but to push his wife away. But I couldn't even pay attention to what the comments were saying. Because across from me, the smirk on Christina's face was practically spilling off her lips. I was too angry to even speak. I grabbed a glass of champagne and walked off to the side by myself. I waited for 10 minutes. I thought William would notice something was wrong and come find me. But instead, I saw him and Christina standing in the middle of a crowd, laughing and chatting happily. Fine. Just fine. I slammed my champagne glass down on the table, stood up, and started walking towards the exit. I was going home right now to draft a new set of divorce papers, and no one was going to stop me. But as I reached the entrance with righteous indignation, the comments started frantically flooding my vision. Sophie, don't go. If you leave now, William is really done for. He's totally innocent. That fake first love is spouting nonsense. The chasing after her she mentioned was when they were 7 or 8 years old, playing house. The way she said it made everyone misunderstand. They all think he actually pursued her. In a minute, that scheming first love is going to drug his drink and take him to a small room on the 2nd floor. The bitch is going to sleep with him, get evidence, and send it to you. William will wake up the next day, realize what happened, and be devastated. He'll feel dirty and will offer you a divorce himself. If that happens, you'll be handing victory to that conniving bitch. She'll even fake a pregnancy to force him to marry her. Go back, Sophie. Turn around. Go. I stood frozen in place. I hesitated. Was William really about to be drugged by Christina? But by the time I returned to the main hall, William and Christina were no longer in the center of the crowd. Go upstairs, Sophie. Quick. Run. Just then, the comments reminded me that time was running out. Without a second thought, I hiked up my dress and bolted for the 2nd floor. The room at the end of the 2nd floor hallway. The door was locked. Were the comments right? I pounded on the door. A moment later, I heard something fall inside. I pounded harder. Finally, the door opened. Christina, her clothes in disarray, came out looking flustered. Sophie, what are you doing? I wasn't feeling well and came up here to rest. What's with all the noise? Christina stood in the doorway, intentionally blocking my view. But I'm no damsel in distress. I shoved her aside and stormed into the room. On the large bed, a flushed William was clutching the sheets, scratching at them like he was about to lose his mind. Seeing this, I spun around, raised my hand, and slapped Christina hard across the face. That slap was so satisfying. Go, Sophie. You're a badass. You shameless homewrecker. After the slap, I cursed at her, my face cold. Christina stood there, holding her face in shock, completely forgetting how to react. She probably never dreamed that her little scheme would be exposed. I got William out of there. In the back seat of the car, a barely conscious William clung to me, his body burning hot. Sophie, is that you? He was breathing heavily, like a drowning fish. It's me. Sophie, you smell so good. Not only had William been drugged, but he also seemed quite drunk. His true nature was completely exposed. The cool, aloof, and unromantic demeanor he usually wore was gone without a trace. Not only was he glued to me, but his restless hands were shamelessly exploring under my clothes. I blushed and quickly pressed the button for the privacy partition, shielding us from the driver's awkward coughs up front. "William, we're still in the car. Can you let me go for a second?" "We can, when we get home." William lifted his flushed face from my chest, pouting like a petulant child. "Do you have any idea how hard this has been for me? We've been married a month, and I haven't even gotten to hold your hand." Did I ask you to hold back? I practically threw myself at you, and you still didn't budge. Serves you right. But for you, Sophie, I'd endure anything, no matter how hard it is. So please, can you not hate me? Please don't divorce me. Is it because I peeked at you in the shower that one time and you found out? Is that why you want to divorce me? That happened? Or was it that other time, when I stole a kiss while you were sleeping? Did you know about that too? Or maybe, you found out that I'm actually a pervert with an insanely high sex drive who fantasizes about you every night, and I'm nothing like you imagined? Sophie, what is it? Can you please just tell me? All this was happening without me even knowing? William is falling apart. Sophie, you need to comfort him. Now that the partition is up, maybe us premium members can finally see some paid content. Take advantage of his weakened state, Sophie. Go for it. If you miss this chance, he'll be back to his cold, proud, insufferable self tomorrow morning. The comments gave me an idea. Once we got home, I threw William onto the bed and climbed on top of him. I won't divorce you. So tonight, can you please not hold back? Hearing my words, a flash of joy crossed William's flushed face. Can I? Sophie? You won't hate me? If I do things to you, I won't be cool and aloof at all. Are you okay with that? You're not testing me, are you? What if my persona shatters and you decide to leave me tomorrow? You know what, forget it. I should just hold back. I can do it. William gripped the sheets beneath him, his knuckles turning white as sweat beaded on his forehead. He looked like he was about to die. Less talk, more action. I reached down and undid the buttons on his shirt, then lowered my head and leaned in. And kissed him. The touch of my tongue must have shocked him, because a shiver ran through his entire body. Sophie, no, don't do that, I won't be able to take it. His words said he couldn't take it. But the look on his face was pure pleasure. I ignored him and let my hands roam freely. William truly lost control. With a single movement, he flipped me over and pinned me beneath him. He stared down at me, his usually calm, dark eyes now swirling with a molten, volcanic desire. Sophie, I really can't hold back anymore. He talked too much. I hooked my hand around his neck, pulled him down, and shut him up with a kiss. What followed was, naturally, a complete loss of control. A flood of comments filled my vision. Now this is a feast. Damn, girl, you're eating well. Do you even know what you're doing? Move over, let me take the lead for a couple of episodes. The comments were so noisy they were ruining the mood, so with a flick of my hand, I turned off the lights. What happened? Did the screen go black? Where's my dinner? Can you guys still see anything? Nope. Can't see a thing. I want to file a complaint. After all this waiting, you black out the screen right when things get good. Unscrupulous merchant, give me my money back. I woke up the next morning. My back ached, and my whole body felt like it had been taken apart and put back together wrong. But when I turned my head, I saw that William, who should have been lying next to me, was already up. He was sitting at the foot of the bed with his back to me. His shoulders were shaking, as if he were crying. Confused, I sat up, and the comments started scrolling again. He's crying. Yesterday he accidentally pounced on Sophie, and his cool, aloof persona is completely shattered. What's worse, he didn't know his own strength and made her cry several times. Now he's worried sick that she's going to serve him with divorce papers. My heart breaks for this little crybaby. William's inner monologue right now: it's over. I slept with my wife. She's definitely going to divorce me now. What on earth was all this? William. I called his name tentatively. William's sobbing shoulders instantly froze. He turned his head in surprise. On that chiseled, coolly handsome face, there were 2 clear tear tracks. He looked so broken. It was heart-wrenching. Come here. I need to talk to you. William scrambled across the bed in a flash, crawling over to me and taking my hand with a terrified expression. Sophie, are you really going to divorce me? Last night, I was drugged. I couldn't control myself. Can you please give me another chance? Before he could start crying again, I quickly cut him off. Who said I was going to divorce you? William stared at me, stunned. I closed my eyes, exasperated. I know I probably shouldn't be the one to say this, but what you did to me last night, I really liked it. I didn't hate it at all. After saying it, I couldn't help but blush with embarrassment. Ray, really? William's face was a mask of disbelief. We're husband and wife. That kind of thing, we should be doing it often. You don't need to deliberately hold back. That's not good for you, and it's not good for me. It makes me think I'm not attractive. Or that you hate me. William stared at me, motionless. As if he was finally understanding something. But Sophie, didn't you say you liked guys who are cool and aloof? To get you to like me, I've always tried to seem as cold as possible. When we were dating, I was so proper. I always spoke to you coldly and never even touched you. And then you agreed to my proposal so quickly. I thought my act was working. I thought you really liked me that way, and that's why you said yes. I shook my head. The reason I said yes to your proposal was because you were so thoughtful, considerate, and attentive to me. It was because you made me feel like I was being treated with genuine respect. What I liked was never your cool guy persona. William fell silent. His entire worldview had just been shattered. What wife would want her husband not to touch her? Of course I want you to be like you were last night, passionate and insatiable for me. William swallowed hard. Ray, really? Emicham. So, can I be even more forward than last night? My face turned an even deeper shade of red. If that's what you want, then yes. Ah, this is so sweet I could die. He fell for her at 17, and now his dream has come true. He must be grinning from ear to ear. They've finally cleared the air. Applause now, please provide endless updates of your private, daily life. Strike while the iron is hot. Go. I ignored the frantic comments and calmed myself down. But, when did I ever say I liked the cool, aloof type? Where did you hear such an outdated piece of news? William said he heard it from Riley. And Riley was my best friend all through high school. It turned out that William and I really did go to the same high school. It's just that back then, William looked completely different from how he does now. He was 6'2" and weighed over 300 pounds. A legit big guy. When William was young, his parents were busy building their careers and were rarely home to be with him. So, he was raised by his grandparents. Grandparents loved to spoil, and on top of that, the family was well off. They fed him gourmet meals every day and supplemented them with all sorts of nutritional supplements. So, when he hit his growth spurt in high school, his weight skyrocketed. I had just started as a freshman, while William was already a senior. Normally, our paths wouldn't have crossed. But one chance encounter, and he fell for me at first sight. As he recalled, I was the freshman representative giving a speech on stage. My bright face was full of spirit, my confident speech dazzling. In just a few short minutes, he had completely lost his teenage heart to me. To be fair, I had a lot of admirers back in high school. I was good-looking and a top student, so I was popular with both guys and girls. Meanwhile, William, because of his appearance at the time, wasn't very confident. He had average grades and no particular talents, so he didn't really stand out at school. I never even noticed a person like him existed. William would watch me from afar at school but never dared to find a chance to approach or get to know me. He had low self-esteem back then. Later, just as he had made up his mind to lose weight and study hard to become a better person, his parents suddenly transferred him to a school abroad. And with that, our connection ended. But during his time studying overseas, William was incredibly diligent. Not only did he shed all the extra weight, but he also won scholarships year after year. After successfully completing his studies and returning to the country, William joined his family's company. Within 3 years, he became the one in charge of the entire group. His life took off from there. But in his heart, there was always a place reserved for me. Once his career was stable, he used his high school alumni network to find out what I was up to. When he learned that I was single and that my mom was setting me up on dates, he had someone pass my mom his photo. William's looks, background, and abilities were all top tier. Naturally, my mom was thrilled. And so, that was the beginning of our dates. Hearing him tell this story was surprising. But beyond the surprise, I was also incredibly moved. It turned out that during those high-pressure, head-down years of high school, someone had been silently watching me, liking me. For me, he became hardworking, diligent, and outstanding. And eventually, he stood right in front of me. Even though I'm no world beater, his love made me feel precious. I had already met the best person for me long ago. Ever since that day William's true nature was exposed, we began our shameless, blissful married life. One night, I was halfway through a shower when I realized I forgot to grab my pajamas. So I called out for William to bring them in for me. I remember back when we first got married, I tried the same trick to tempt him. But back then, William acted like he had sworn off all worldly desires. He opened the door just a crack, placed the clothes on the bathroom counter, and then closed the door and vanished. The whole process took no more than 3 seconds. 1 second to open the door, 1 second to put the clothes down, 1 second to close it. A perfect, seamless operation. An extra second would have been a sign of disrespect to his cool, aloof persona. But things were different now. I asked him to get my pajamas, and he brought me a piece of lace lingerie that was barely there. I asked for pajamas. Not this. I stood there wrapped in a towel, holding up the stringy object in protest. "This is a pajama," William said, walking up to me with an innocent look on his face. The next second, he snatched it from my hand, his voice thick with suggestion. "If it's inconvenient for you, honey, I can help you put it on." "No, thank you." I knew exactly what William was up to. After all, ever since we cleared up our misunderstanding, he had been pushing the boundaries of my worldview every single day. Lingerie, toys, props. He had bought a huge pile of things, some I'd seen before and some I hadn't. "Fine, you don't have to wear it." I thought he was going to get my actual pajamas, but instead, he tossed the lingerie aside and pressed me against the wall. "You'll have to take it off later anyway." "I'll listen to you, honey. Let's not wear it." When he was finished, I was left panting, my whole body sticky and damp. I leaned weakly on his shoulder, catching my breath and scolding him, "This is all your fault. I washed up for nothing." "Then let me help you wash up again." "No. I wasn't foolish enough to fall for the same trick twice in one day." "Yes. I made the mistake, so I have to take full responsibility." William didn't give me a chance to refuse. By the time we were clean again, 2 hours had passed. The comments exploded. "What just happened? Did he turn off the lights again? Sophie is so selfish. Has she forgotten who helped her finally sleep with her husband? Don't bite the hand that feeds you. This girl just crosses the bridge and tears it down." I was speechless. I didn't have the energy to turn off the lights. It was William who pressed me against the wall and accidentally hit the switch. Later, William carried me back to the bedroom. I'm going to sleep. No more. But honey, don't we need to properly make up for all the meals we missed during our first month of marriage? William, you are our God. Chef God, please accept my worship. Say it 3 times 'cause it's important. Don't turn off the lights. Don't turn off the lights. Don't turn off the lights. Amidst all the noise, I peacefully closed my eyes. Yep. Tonight was destined to be another sleepless night.